So, Don, you recently had the chance to play Animal Crossing New Horizons for quite a bit of time, as I understand it, as well as Derek and Ash at PAX East at a special preview event. Unfortunately, neither of them are here, so you're stuck with me to discuss Animal Crossing New Horizons based on your playtime just a few days ago. That's right, we're gonna make this work. So, Don, you got to play this game for about 90 minutes or so, right?
Yes, I did.
So can you give us a brief overview of what exactly you got to see in your time with it?
So there were 3 demos. The first demo was almost at the beginning of the game. The second was a little bit further. Some services were built, all the stores were standing, the museum was already there. Mm-hmm. And then the third demo, I am not allowed to talk about it in general terms. I'm only allowed to tell you that I saw the terraforming in that specific demo.
Okay, so can you talk about the terraforming at all, or only that you saw it? Okay, cool.
I can talk about the terraforming, I cannot talk about anything else in that demo.
Got it, alright. Well, I think that still gives us enough to work with here. So, what are your overall thoughts on the game based on the 90 minutes of playtime? Like, did it live up to what you were hoping for? I know thing is, Animal Crossing is a weird game to demo, but still, based on your playtime, what did you think of it?
I would say with the second demo, it really came into its own. Because here's the thing, with Animal Crossing, I always have a daily routine.
Right.
But that sort of muddied the water because there's so many little changes with Animal Crossing New Horizons. Mm-hmm. Especially, there are a couple of things that really changed that hour for me with that second demo. First of all, I did a whole bunch of DIY crafting. Focused a lot on the Nook Miles program. Nook Miles Plus was in that specific demo.
Nice.
With the 5 daily tasks that you can do, and then the list of tasks, and then the whole bunch of miles that you can get. Mm-hmm. And then also my usual things where I catch some bugs and caught some fish. And did the usual Animal Crossing things. But for me, like, usually when I do my daily routine, it's like 30-35 minutes in any other Animal Crossing game.
Right.
But I felt with all the stuff that I did do and all the stuff that I could do and explore an entire island, I was easily there for an hour.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, well, you were there. I mean, you were playing for 90 minutes, so that covered most of your time with it then. It sounds like just getting your basic stuff done, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But once again, like with all the stuff that they added with the DIY and the Nook Miles in particular, it feels like you have now goals to shoot for, which is honestly the most important takeaway here. There are goals. Because while Animal Crossing was great in like putting you in the environment and just having a lot of fun with it, you sometimes had to find your own fun. Mm-hmm. And this feels a little more guided in that specific way.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit more structured, right? Because those goals, they're basically achievements almost, aren't they?
Basically, it's just in-game stuff that you do, and then you get like these points for it, once again the Nook Miles. And in the beginning, that is how you can potentially pay off back your getaway package.
Okay.
And then after that, it basically becomes a real rewards program. By investing in it, you get rewards back. So they gave us in the second demo this really long list of all the things that you can potentially get, and I'm not allowed to tell every single thing about it.
Right.
So there was a whole bunch of stuff. Some stuff we already seen with like the expanded inventory card and what have you.
So to be clear, the Nook Miles rewards, like the things you can buy with those Nook Miles, that's totally separate from the other stuff you can buy at Tom Nook's, right? With your bells.
Yeah. So in the beginning, you only have like the resident services building. You don't have any stores. Mm-hmm. So you can buy 2 pieces of furniture and a few DIY cards, and basically all the DIY stuff that you can actually already make. So what's the point? And then at the beginning, you also have a separate option on the Nook Terminal, where also the Nook Miles are. Mm-hmm. Where you can buy a random assortment of items.
So let's talk a little bit more about crafting, or how exactly that whole process was woven into your daily routine.
Yes.
Because in order to craft in this game, you have to go find those materials. So
yes.
Yeah. So what did that feel like to you? Like, did that totally change the way that you've played Animal Crossing?
It sort of did, because I went out of my way to go to every tree. So I'm a very careful man. So when I see a tree, I'm thinking, you know what? A bee could fall out of there, or a wasp nest. I am out of here.
You're a wise man.
But here it kind of forces my hand, right? Because the only way you can get materials is by actually putting your axe into the actual tree and slicing it 3 times. Or getting tree branches, or smashing stones and getting like rubies out of it. Like, there is an actual reason to doing all of this. And it changed the way that you play the game, because every single day it is important that you collect materials, because just around the corner there might be a new DIY recipe from a villager, from Tom Nook, from somewhere on the beach. You never know what's up with that, so it's always important that you have something on hand.
Right. Well, speaking of having things on hand, don't you even craft these tools yourself? And do they have like a limited lifespan or anything, or?
The first tools, absolutely. They have only a limited number of uses. So even the watering can, the freaking watering can, had like a select number of uses, and I had to craft another one at the end of my demo. Which felt a little bit defeating, if I have to say so myself.
How's a watering can like run out of uses? It does one thing. It holds water.
Yes. But I also quickly wanted that issue with the axe, because it can only do so much before it explodes on itself.
So are you saying are we gonna get complaints from Breath of the Wild? I guess fans who are sick of breakable weapons? Are they gonna be upset with Animal Crossing?
I think so. Sure. That sounds about right, honestly.
So yeah, what did you think of that then? Like, did you enjoy going out and finding those materials in order to like basically turn them into something else? Like, was that fun for you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, because every single day it seems like they are just replenishing all the stuff that you need. And in addition, you have every single tree comes with 3 back buckets of wood. You always have tree branches. There are also stones that you can pick up. And it feels like you always have something on hand to make that happen.
Right.
Unlike Breath of the Wild, where you have to just find straight up another weapon.
Good point. I guess it feels like you have more agency over your inventory, right? In Breath of the Wild, it was always kind of random when you encountered, whereas here, like, your inventory, that like the usable weapons or items are dictated based on what you build, which is based on the materials you have available.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
And that seems like that would give you a lot more to do each day too, right? Like, did that really lengthen? I mean, you already mentioned this a little bit earlier, but yeah, did that really like, extend your playtime during your daily routine?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel that the first time I did all of this during that demo, I felt like a double what I would usually do during a daily routine.
Nice.
But it also like, once again, those Nook Mile objectives really help. Those really help.
Right.
Because you just feel they're just something off in the distance that you can get, and you're going through the apps like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it right now. Sure, okay.
Yeah, now speaking of which, I was watching your gameplay, and it looks like you get like a little notification in the corner from your phone, right? Whenever you have like a new Nook, whenever you like accomplish something and you get and you had some rewards, right? So is that how that works? You can just check your phone.
Yeah, exactly. Your controller actually, if you're playing with a Pro controller, it actually vibrates.
Okay, nice.
So you're like, so you also know, oh, you got something, cool.
So it's like an actual phone, then. You have that vibration notification.
Basically.
That's funny.
I don't think that would happen on a Switch Lite, though, because it doesn't have any RAM.
Oh, good point. Switch Lite owners are getting the inferior experience. A slightly inferior experience. All right, well...
Slightly.
So what did you, so you mentioned you got the chance to go shopping, too, a little bit. So,
yeah.
What version of Nook's store were you able to check out, or that you can talk about at least? Was it the first setup?
So I can't talk about like the first setup of Nook's Cranny. So I went in there, and yeah, I did some shopping. What I like about shopping in general, also in terms with the Able Sisters, and then also with the Nook terminal, is that there's also always a more and bigger assortment of items than used to before. Mm-hmm. With Nook's Cranny, you have your basic setup where there are a few items spread across the store,
right.
But then you go into a special cabinet which has more flooring options and wallpapers. Mm-hmm. And it used to be only 1 per day, but this cabinet had like 4 straight up options.
Oh wow!
Which is very interesting to see. It also had some DIY recipes, some other stuff that you could basically need. Mm-hmm. And in addition, with the Able Sisters, is that they had these mannequins at the left side, and if you saw some item that you immediately wanted to have, you could point them as like, this is the one I want. But also you had, of course, the thing we've seen multiple times, like the dressing room, where you can go for multiple screens and just select what you want.
So you can try it out, right, before you buy?
Yeah, basically it's a try before you buy. You have multiple color options. So if you don't like one color, there are still 3 others for you to choose from, which is very nice because it used to be always locked to one in the stores.
Right.
So with that in mind, plus what you do with the Nook terminal with the shopping, Nook shopping, it seems like in all these options you have always a secondary thing to choose from, which feels very important, and it is very minor in the grand scheme of things, but considering what we had before, for shopping it makes it so much nicer.
Yeah, that sounds like that would. So you enjoyed the shopping experience based on your playtime so far?
Yes, especially since I now had more bells to spend on, because a lot of the rewards are now spent with Nook Miles.
Hey, there you go. That's how Nook gets you. He hooks you into these reward programs, and you're next thing you know it, you're addicted to them. So
Yes.
So I'm actually watching your gameplay right now, and I saw that when you went to your house, you were able to try out the new interface, allowing you to more easily plant down furniture or put on wallpaper and all that. You can spin the camera. Tell me a little bit more about that. Did you actually enjoy the new interface compared to dragging things slowly in the past games?
So they kind of did a Happy Home Designer. So where you could basically drag stuff to a more precise direction.
Right.
But it feels a bit more free-flowing in New Horizons. So one thing, for example, that you couldn't do, there was a storage once you did the Welcome Amiibo update in your house. But now you could never just pull them out and immediately plot them into your room. So now if you put them into storage and you go into the house building mode, you can immediately choose from the list from all the things that you have in your storage, and then immediately plop them into the game and make your house that much of a better place. You can also, there's another option where you can immediately just pull it from your inventory as well, which makes it a lot more easy to mix and match things that you have in both or either ends of the spectrum.
It just seems, way more elegant now than any of the mainline games up to this point, so I do appreciate that. So it seems like if you're into decorating, this is going to be the mainline Animal Crossing for you, so...
Well, yeah, not just inside, also outside.
Oh, that's right, because you can plop down things wherever you want now, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That segue there. Unfortunately, you don't get access to the cool interface, though, right? That's where you still have to do it all manually with your character. Yeah.
You still have to do it manually there, for sure. But it's... hey, baby steps, right? It's still really cool to have it basically... have the freedom to put stuff everywhere you want to.
Well, and speaking of that, it seems like this game is really just all about giving you way more control, but whether inside or outside, because even beyond being able to plop down things wherever you want, as you mentioned earlier, you had a chance, even though we can't show it, you had a chance to try terraforming, where you can basically build rivers or tear down or build up a ledge if you want. So tell me more about this. How did that work, and what did you think of it?
So basically with terraforming, there are 3 parts to it. So you have road building, which is basically plopping down a road and putting little tiles everywhere,
like a path, right? Just a
path.
Like
a path.
Yeah.
But you have a whole section of materials that you can choose from, and then just plop it down.
Okay.
You have to do it spot by spot though, which can be a bit tricky, especially if you by accident land on the same spot, which happened for me a lot.
Yeah.
But with building up land and building water, I found that to be a whole lot of fun.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you can basically just break up a river and make 2 bodies of water.
That's so... I kind of love that, actually. That's kind of cool. That's a little wild.
It's super wild. So I was just making ground in the middle there, and both bodies of water just kept being there. The starting point was just... it started now from the other side of the water there, so it just made it 2 separate bodies of water, which I found really funny.
Nice.
And then with the water side of things, you can basically expand your river endlessly. I don't know if that exactly is a good idea, but you could do it.
Yeah, I guess, could you just make the entire island, could you just dissolve the entire island, basically, or as much as...
I don't know, that's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a really good question.
And then wasn't there? Did you mention all three? Isn't there like a third one too, like with cliffs?
Yeah, there's a third one where you can basically make ledges.
Okay, right.
And that will be very interesting to see how that will turn out, like in a number of months from now, like say 6 months from now, because a whole bunch of people already have ideas in their head on how they're going to make their town. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make Death Mountain, so no one better do that before me.
Yeah, another idea I have is putting all the stores and the museum in the back, high up, and make the front more of a living and nature area.
Oh, so that'd be almost a little bit like how New Leaf worked, where you had the whole city in the top area, right?
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Good call there. Yeah. So I almost want to do that maybe at some point, but we'll see how it goes, because it requires like a lot of technicality and then putting all of the stores on the top there. But it's something that I definitely want to try once that moment arrives.
Now, are there any things that limit how much you can terraform the environment? Like, is there any cap on it?
That's something I don't know yet.
Okay.
We were only allowed to try it like very limitedly.
Right, okay. Makes sense.
And that demo was also really short. Like, they showed us, this is all the options. Thanks, see you later. But at least got to feel how it works. And it works well enough. Like, you basically click on the phone, get a hard hat, and start building.
Yeah.
That's basically where it comes down to.
You got your little construction hat on and you go to town on your island.
Basically, yeah.
Alright, any other major points, Don, or any other takeaways you have from your 90 minutes with the game?
I got to see Gulliver.
Oh, he washed up on your shore, huh?
Yeah, during the end of my first demo, so the Pretty Baron demo, randomly, Gulliver was there.
Yeah, that's lucky.
Yeah. And Gulliver... So Gulliver's thing in this specific version of Animal Crossing is that you need to collect 5 specific parts of his smartphone that broke while he was driving upshore.
Oh wow, he's a smart... Man, everyone's got a smartphone these days.
Yeah. So you need to... Basically, the clams, so the minalas where you can get fish bait from, which we saw in like footage months ago, the same way... You have to pull out with your shovel the parts of his smartphone.
I've never expected that.
Yeah, it's completely different than what he used to before, because New Leaf, he used to be just traveling around the world and just randomly show up and then leave.
Right.
But here it's just, oh, he needs to call his mates from the boat because he somehow fell off.
Can't he just fly back? Like, he's a seagull, right?
I don't know.
Gulliver, man, come on, get it together. All right.
Gulliver never gets it together.
No, it's true. Reason. Yeah, game after game, he's always doing the same stuff. You would think he'd learn. All right, Don. Overall thoughts on Animal Crossing: New Horizons so far? What did you think?
I am pretty impressed what it does to, once again, the daily flow, quotation marks. I love the principles of Animal Crossing. Once again, catching bugs, catching fish, doing whatever I want.
Right.
But it feels like it's dialing that up to 11. With, once again, DIY, Nook Miles, and later on the terraforming, of course, but that's way later on. And of course, like, building up your island from scratch, because you basically have no services at the start.
Right.
You're basically just building up the island the way you want to. Of course, you never have to build a house, but it would be nicer if you had. So you should probably do that. But at the beginning, there's something magical about being at an empty playground that isn't pre-built for you like the previous games. You have the freedom to do what you want, where you want to place them, even like the tents of all your other friends, which I think is gonna make the way that the town is built up immediately different.
That's a good one. It almost feels a little bit Minecraftian, if you will, in its in how it works this time, and that you do have more control, it seems, over the general direction of your town. Obviously not to the degree that Minecraft has, but it does seem like they're kind of like going in that more like giving you more control over the appearance of your island.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. Like, it also seems like the right time. Like, after New Leaf, there wasn't really a place for this series to go. And I think the overhauls they're making right now feels like the right direction to take it.
Did you see my image I posted on Twitter showing the power creep of Animal Crossing, where you go from villager to mayor to a god in New Leaf, where you can just terraform everything?
You're basically God now. Yeah, that's this is where the discussion basically comes down to. You're God now.
Hey, and what better place to end it? So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Dawn, thank you for sharing your impressions with us. I know myself, I'm excited to see even more of this game. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching. Of course, stay tuned for tons more on Animal Crossing New Horizons, I'm sure in not too long, and everything else Nintendo as well. We'll catch you later. Bye.